everyone, welcome to the Dance Diaries. I'm Carole.
And I'm Kim. Welcome everyone. Today I'm so excited. It's going to be such a special episode because I get to turn the spotlight onto someone you guys all know and love. And so do I. My dear podcast partner, my dance friend, and such a passionate person when she gets on the dance floor. Carole, next week you're going to be competing in the Empire Open Dance Festival. How excited are you?
I am actually, because it's been actually a year since I've competed on an actual competition. I've done a lot of other things, but it's been a year since I've done that. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse, or we're going to give you a little glimpse into Carole's heart and her passion for dancing and what it takes, these weeks leading up to competition. How are you feeling?
To be honest, I was in the car driving here, and remember I told you I don't normally get like anxiety or various things. I'm not fearful of competing or anything like that, but I was thinking about why I was getting worked up for this particular comp, and I think one, it's because it's been a year.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to do a good job. I want to get out there, but I'm not so much nervous, but I've been thinking about it more than I would other comps that I've been to. It seems to be on my mind more, and I can't really nail down why, but
I was just going to say, when you close your eyes and you're visualizing, what you're feeling about these next days coming up, and then how you feel about getting on the dance floor, what are you visualizing?
So remember the last time I was telling you about my package, the brand that I want to put out? I think that's what's been on my mind, and I've done all the right things in the pre-comp checklist that you and I have talked about. But I think it was more around my brand and what I want to put on the floor and make my partner Giovanni, proud, and my dance studio proud of what I can put on the dance floor. So that's probably what's on my mind, is how I present the brand and how not only it represents me, but also how it represents Giovanni and Metropolitan Dance.
Well, okay, so tell me more about that. What's the brand? What's the vision for your brand?
Vision that I'm a strong, competitor, that I, what I've practiced and put on the floor is ready for the, the style and for the competition level that I'm going to be dancing at. I'm doing Open Latin Gold.
Wow.
So it's in a very, generally a fierce level of competition. I'm category C, which I don't mind saying, sometimes that's a good thing. There could be more competitors inside that category.
That is a fierce level.
It is.
And a very fierce category.
Right.
Those ladies are.
And I'm excited actually to see what it would be like to be on the floor with them. I get really motivated by that. I get energized by being on the floor with really good dancers. I just want to make sure that this time I return back to the floor with, representing how I want to sort of really showcase the performance and the technicality of what I've learned,
And you use the word "this time." Mm-hmm. Have you felt like you haven't in the past?
Well, that last one I did last year, I thought it was I was really happy. That was at Manhattan Dance Sport the last time.
Yeah.
But remember, I walked away from that saying I felt like I was trying to recreate a moment in time. This will not be a moment in time. This is the moment in time. It will not be me trying to recreate somebody that I thought it was supposed to be 5 years ago. This is who I am and what I'm doing right now in this moment in time. And I'm really happy for that.
What changed? What made you step into that space?
It is what it is. I mean, sometimes you just have to let go and be okay with the years go really fast. This past year went really fast, but I was tackled with a lot of things, and I'm sure like everybody, life things, very busy work schedule, very busy, other things in my personal life that just consumed a lot of time. And so, Kim, I only still go to the studio one time a week. I'm that one time a week person, so it might take me longer to achieve one of my goals than it would, for somebody else that might go multiple times. In fact, poor Giovanni, he asked me to go in, can I go a little bit more before the competition, which normally I would do. And then in the car, I was thinking, nope, I am a one a week person, and I will just have to be okay with that outcome. And I was okay with it. It was I was talking to myself all the way here in the car before this podcast about where am I really at in my headspace going into that. But exciting,
That's really great, because you are that person. I've seen this happen time and time again with you, where you set your mind to something, you visualize it, and therefore it definitely happens. And I feel like this time you already know your outcome.
Absolutely.
I feel like you already know your outcome. You're so calm, and you're so put together. Tell me about your dress. How are you feeling about your dress?
So the dress is cool. Like, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see my nail color, but it's like this beautiful purple fuchsia color. Very excited about that. I feel like it really showcases something about me because I love color and I love how that shows up. So that's exciting. I did test the dress, so we talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
But I did do that for the purpose of making sure that, you know, at this stage, remember I said, well, I have to be okay with what I look like, how I am, how I'm representing myself. I just need to make sure that that was going to be looking okay on the dance floor. But that's now a check off from my list, and I'm feeling relaxed about that.
Yeah, that's great, because I saw the dress and I said the same thing. I love it. I think it just showcases and highlights all your good. That's what we want. We want to be able to get on the dance floor and the dress has so much to do with it. If we're not feeling confident in what we're wearing, we're just not going to dance into that confidence.
Well, the other thing too, and I really encourage this, if you are prepping for competition, have someone take a video of you in the studio. And so when I did that, I remember in the beginning, I was like very serious. And then halfway through, I saw the smile coming out of my video and I was really like getting into it. And that is another thing I want to do, is make sure that my connection with Giovanni, when we get out on the dance floor, that is like my number one want and desire, is to make sure that I'm connecting with him and that we're just both enjoying the day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there a message you're dancing for this time? Is there something you really, you mentioned it before, you really want to show the brand, but what's the real message?
The message has always been for me, when you get out, and I always say that I always dance for myself or someone, meaning I think of someone and I channel how grateful and lucky I am to be able to go and dance. So that's the first thing, and I will always do that as I enter the dance floor. When I get out, it's about the joy that people feel when they watch me dance. There's so many people sometimes that will come up and say, I really, really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah.
And I don't do it purposely, I just try to exude that joy for myself as well.
Yep.
And so if someone got a little bit of something out of that made them appreciate ballroom dancing more, then I've done my job.
I love that. And how do you feel like you're going to be able to carry that out?
I do think. I was visualizing recently just how I would connect with an audience member, not fake like. I can see myself how I would authentically enjoy doing that, no matter the music, no matter where I'm at in each dance that I'm doing. So I think that's good.
And I love that. So my question would be then, what type of emotions do you want to portray, not only to the audience, but to Giovanni, but also to the judges?
So the judges, I will always know the judges are there character-wise, and it's not like I don't go around like hamming it up for the judges. I do it in the spirit of the performance of Giovanni. So what we are going to do together will come out naturally, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I do. If it happens to be audience members, I think I treat that a little differently than the judges, because they're the ones that are the spectators. They're there enjoying and watching and cheering on, and it's so important. I've been a spectator for, I can't tell you, maybe Kim, 6 or 7 competitions this year where I've been the spectator, the videographer, and I'm cheering people on, and I love what I see. And from afar, when I see somebody doing something in their dance that I actually appreciate, whether it's like a performance factor, maybe it's just a well-danced, performance that they've done, or even the way that they look with their instructor.
Yeah.
I love that. And I will go up to them after and I'll say it. Like in reverse, I would love that makes someone feel similar.
I love that. Talk to us a little bit about your mental, we've done this in the past, but now that you're coming up to a competition, maybe something has changed, maybe it's more intense, maybe it's a little less than your previous rituals or routines. But what is your personal inner ritual in preparing for competition?
Well, this one's a little bit different. Like in the past, and I know you and I, this is where we might focus on different things. Like I know you and I talked about like nutrition and all these kinds of things. I'm like, for real, like I'm throwing that out the door. I'm like, honestly, if I feel like having a glass of wine and a cottage cheese, I'm just saying. I
don't listen to her, Lise.
No, I know,
I'm just kidding.
But like, for real, like, I've got to live my life.
Yeah,
I'm I'm letting go of things that are like, oh my God, I'm going to have to like make sure that I'm not eating this or I'm not doing that. Where in the past, like, while I think it's important, I also think I need to just be myself and give myself a break and just go to this thing and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're not going to drink the night before, will you?
I have a glass of wine. I'm being very serious.
I think that's great.
But no, in all reality,
I think that's great that someone can do that.
I just think that, I guess what I'm trying to say, the message is that there's a few things in the past where I would have been like pretty rigid about, things that I would get ready for. For now, I'm just trying to be like super relaxed.
Yeah.
And I know that I'll have a busy work week, but leading up to thank God, like on Thursday, the night before I go there, I'm not going to leave till late at night. So that means I'm not going to rush. Remember I told you the anxiety I get is about time and strict time. So now I feel better that I'm not going to be leaving till like 9 o'clock at night. It'll be a late arrival.
You're leaving on Thursday night?
Thursday night. I won't be there. I will not arrive at 4 a.m. like we talked about. So I'm prepping. I'm doing all the things that I said out of last year's competition. I'm arranging it differently.
Yeah.
So, and the good thing about that is like all the good things, like the hair and makeup, like these things are already all prearranged. I'll know. So everything on the checklist that I want to do is checked off, and I feel good about it.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna make a world of difference in your dancing.
Absolutely,
sure.
And I think, like I said, the package and the fact that I know exactly what I'm going to wear, and then I don't need to worry about like this thing has sleeves and all that, and
like like minimal tan or whatever.
And then I've got like Jen is coming, and I've got another girl from the dance studio who I actually danced with before. So you say that little tribe, people that come.
Who's doing your hair and makeup?
So I set up with Boyko this time.
Yeah.
So the reason, because I love where I've done it before, but in this time, because again for time situation, I always find Boyko's team very efficient. They're always on time, and they're very.
Do you know who?
Not yet. They'll let me know, but they're very proficient in both hair and makeup. They also have all of the extra accessories.
Yes.
So if they need to do something with the hair, I know they'll have all the pieces to go with it. I don't have to arrive with anything.
Yes.
That for me, again, goes back to why am I outsourcing a vendor to do it? I want to make sure they're all set up and that I cannot think about those things.
Yeah, I've always done 100%. That. I never, I could never do my own or anything like that. Last, but definitely not least question, no matter what happens, what will you look back at from this competition and feel proud of, even if something changed? What is the largest takeaway that you would take from this competition and feel really proud of accomplishing?
So there are two things. Pre-comp, just like this podcast, you just have to do these things. No, I'm just serious.
So
like
real,
you don't pull the
so
trigger,
true.
Put something into the world. It's not perfect. And so where I get debilitating anxiety is deciding whether I'm going to go to the comp or not. And once I do, and I sign up and I give my money away, which is hard to do for me, give my money to somebody, then I'm good. So that was like the pre-comp sort of get over that.
Yes.
And so if anybody's listening and you're like, oh my God, just get over it already. Do you want to go or not?
Yes.
And then sign up and do that. And then as for what I want to take away coming out of it is that I've chosen a venue that I really like, that I think the competition, the ones that are running the competition and all the sort of everything that's surrounding that with the judges and the day that I'm going, I took a day off. Every one of those things will help me be perfectly relaxed so that I can enjoy what I love as my passion, no doubt that I've done for 14 years, and just go out for the joy of dance and to also put out a little of my competitive spirit on the dance floor. Yeah. And see how I do.
And you're going to do great. And it's so interesting because you went back to International Latin. And how are you feeling about that?
So I have to thank Giovanni so much for not changing up too much the choreography.
Yeah.
He has been absolutely dedicated to practicing the 5 routines. I did add the jives, so that was new, but I will say that he has been committed to not changing anything up so that I can be as mentally prepared as possible, because I don't go very often. So I much rather go out knowing that the committed choreography that we've gone to is what we're going to put on the floor.
Yeah,
it will
important.
ease my mind that I'm doing that.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot, about changing. Sometimes we end up, we get coaches right before competition, like literally the week before competition, who will obviously enhance the routine because they know what they're doing, but that equals a change for us.
So I will talk about coaches a little bit. So I think this is important. So I did have a coach about a month ago.
Yeah.
And that coach helped me, Marcus Holm, he helped me with the Paso Doble. And he was so magnificent. Like, he helped me with the timing, the musicality of it, and how to really hone into what that character is supposed to be for the Paso Doble. And not, like, you're not a big fan the Paso Doble, but for me to portray
I love watching it.
I know, but he helped me just enough to make sure that whatever I was doing with Giovanni was going to be not tripped up. Because the minute you trip up, like just two things in the Paso, you got to be really on beat, and you need to be able to move around for that choreography. So that was super helpful. But it was a month ago. It's not like it's within the week of comp. Okay, so I'm good with that, and all it did was strengthen. He didn't change any choreography. He strengthened the musicality of it. When you go hard, when you really accent the music. And I thought that was so helpful, because then we didn't have to practice a ton of that before leading up to comp, because we fine-tuned it right there on the spot.
Understood. Yeah. And it was a month ago. So that's not bad. So it gave you, whatever, how much time to practice that. But yeah. But it's really important, because we did this last time too, when I said to Arsene, no changes. And it was so hard, because toward the end and getting closer, we started to make some changes, and then we stopped. And he was like, okay, right, you said no changes. So and even me, I was like, no, let's do it. Let's change it. And he's like, no changes. And we kept it. So it gets into the soul,
I would rather tell you, what am I doing in this month? Okay, so let me describe how Giovanni is prepping me without it being like more choreography. So if I could say that, what am I doing with my hip and a cha-cha? How am I rotating that to give more of that like fluid
sensuality, or without
that, for example.
Cha-cha is so hard sometimes.
That hold a little more, so that his lead is what comes through, versus me trying to like move through a choreography or movement or leading ahead of him. That's a big thing, right? So we're really focused on that. Yes, there's some parts of sensuality, like in the rumba, like that we really have to like figure out, especially for me in international Latin, straight leg, like, come on, like where to do the bent leg and where to do the straight leg. We worked a lot with that. Things like my shoulder and the paso, how to pull it down a little bit so that the center of gravity on when I'm doing like rotations or anything, all these little tips and tricks of things that I got to do in order to really like, perform that. You name it. There's been those kinds of fine tunings versus changes to choreography,
which is important. That just
100%.
The technicality.
I'm trying to think of what else comes to mind. Like when I was in the car, I was like, my usual things. Yes, I brought all my bags and what I pack. Like it's not about that this time. It's about what am I going to feel like performing it this year versus last year, and did I, have I made that look better,
which is definitely, but I wanted to really touch to the heart of how you're feeling, and how you're going to portray those feelings when you get on that dance floor. What's going through your mind?
I will share one other thing. Remember I told you after doing this for nearly 15 years now, I had a moment here in the last couple of months. I'm like, should I retire from doing all this? Honestly, and I know you're like, what? I mean, honestly, it's like, do I continue doing this or just be satisfied with doing showcases and doing studio events, because I don't get out as much? And that's not imposter syndrome so much. It's almost like, am I doing justice to myself by only going out once a year? And then that's where I let it go. This is in the car today where I'm like, screw it. Yeah, okay, all I do is once a year. So what?
It gives you an opportunity to get out there once a year.
And that's fine, and I'll do studio showcases. And I don't think it has
to be a hard stop decision. It could be, okay, you're doing this competition, see how you feel. Yeah. Kind of like what I'm doing. I'm not jumping on every competition, and we're kind of in limbo right now. But it's a feel thing. It's just see where you are at that time. See if when the competition arises and it's presented to you, if you're feeling it.
Exactly.
And that's it. And I would love to see you compete in smooth. So there's that.
So there on the way here, also in the car, I was listening to the Viennese Waltz, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like I was like,
is that what you listen to when you're driving?
Yes, I do. I listen to that.
I listen to
I listen to Quick Step. I listen to samba. I'm like a total nutcase in my car.
I'm listening to Dua Lipa. I'm listening to
I don't.
Usher.
I'm like in my head. I'm like visualizing me dancing around to the Viennese Waltz. So, but then you understand, like I come back and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot sustain dancing two different, like I have got to decide, like what am I putting out in the world for the amount of time I have available. That's why my head went to like, do I need to retire this or what? Because
so here's the thought, right?
Yeah.
Next week you're going to dance International Latin. Table that, start working on your smooth, and when another competition comes up, you'll be smooth ready.
I'm almost smooth ready. I would say the difference between what I'm doing here and with the smooth is that the smooth choreography changed. And remember I told you, I'm like killing me because that means for the time I have and the availability, that probably won't hit the floor until next year. Yet I could probably go out and do a Viennese waltz and tango. I'm ready with that. I'm not ready with the foxtrot whatsoever. And so if anything, it would be individual heats and I would not be ready because that entire choreography got changed. And I'm like, frustrating because I don't have the time to think about it.
So have you been, another question, you used to go to the gym or go into your space or whatever and put your headphones on and do your choreography.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
I dropped the gym, but my kitchen is certainly a great alternative.
Or space, wherever. Yeah.
I do miss the gym for that. I used to go, and there was a huge open space, and I'd go late at night. And remember I told you I'd use the ball, and the ball would be like this, voluminous thing. I loved it. But now, no. But my garage has got some space, and my kitchen. I do more workouts at home now because I have all home equipment.
Yeah, sure.
But I do miss having like a larger space to do that, I have to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the final word and any messages that you can send out into the world?
So the final word for me is always do what you love, bring joy to what you do every day, and to understand like when you are out dancing, my goodness, take a breath, suck it in, do everything you can to just enjoy that experience. Yeah, we all get nervous, sure, but it's not about that. When you get out there and you really are embodying the music, working in partnership with someone like your instructor, just do what you love and bring joy every day.
And smile.
And smile too, but the smile will come out naturally if you can think of all those things.
100%. Well, thank you so much. I do have a closing thought. Sure. So I just want to say how deeply inspiring it is to witness your growth, your courage, and your heart. You remind us all that dance isn't just steps, it's a story, it's a soul, it's a piece of ourselves that we offer to the world. And I can't wait to watch you shine next week at your competition.
Thank you, Kim. I really appreciate that. It's good.
Mm-hmm.